Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So here we are, Fall of the Uesugi. So in terms of later Uesugi, Fall of Uesugi, it's pretty much post Kenshin. Like I said in the Rise of the Uesugi video, they live by Kenshin and they pretty much die after Kenshin's gone. This force is like barely an A tier force with Kenshin. Without him, it's a C tier force. The drop off is that dramatic. Just losing him and then going through the Civil War, coming out on the other end, they're just nowhere near the same force that they were. So in the first part, we're going to cover all the specifics. We're going to make all the comparisons, everything that's kind of changed. I'll touch on all the big bullet points. And after that, I'm going to cover their absolute worst scenario. So I'm going to do 2 scenarios and I'm going to cover for this one. So if you guys like the video, make sure you like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to see more stuff like this, let me know. And we are covering. I am doing a run with the Uesugi right now on the channel every Saturday. So we're about to hit the Uesugi Civil War. So if you like this video and you want to see how the Uesugi Civil War plays out, definitely stop by on Saturday and check out that video. I will be live on Saturday. So anyway, let's start the... Okay, so here we are, 1582, Like a Dream. It's in pretty much every Nobunaga's Ambition game. This is the first time that you get to play as the Uesugi after the Civil War, and immediately the differences are shocking. I mean, not even looking anywhere else, forget about what else is going on, just looking at the clan and where they're at, it's very different. So there's 3 big differences, which are, I think they're going to directly compare to the Rise of video. Okay, the officer corps, prestige, and the builds. All 3 of these things are just completely crippled. Okay, so let's start with the officer corps. And I hate to pick on Kagegatsu, but Kagegatsu is just not Kenshin. He's not even close. Okay, Kanetsugu would actually be better daimyo than Kagegatsu, right? If you're just looking at efficiency. So his stats are almost 20 points lower across the board than Kenshin. I mean, you can just see it from a glance. The main thing that hurts him is just the tactic loss. You don't have the confuse that Kenshin had with God of War. And then the traits, man. Kenshin is so unique in that he gives you that power to concentrate all your units. Everybody concentrates when an ally is under attack. That's such a unique thing. It's efficient and fun. And you're also losing the buff that Kenshin gives you. While he's participating in battle, everyone gets increased attack. It's efficient and it was a fun buff to have. You don't have anything of that. I mean, Kagegatsu at least keeps Way of the Uesugi, so you have Bishop Molten Faith for a little distinct, a little uniqueness. But you're going from an S tier officer daimyo to a C tier daimyo. B. Let's say B. Let's just be nice here and say B. And you can improve him and everything. I'm not saying that you can't, but starting off, it's just it's such a drop off, right? Now another thing, and this is kind of interesting too. So of all the officers that I named, okay, in the Rise of video, Kage-ie, let's start with Kage-ie. The second best officer in the Uesugi force is the guy who gets you your cavalry. He allows for the whole cavalry build to work, right? He has cavalry commander, he has the conservator trait. Okay, he's gone, he's dead. So Kage-ie is gone. Takehiro, I'm pretty sure, is gone as well. Yep, Takehiro is gone. Sadamitsu's been gone, and so has Yoshikiyo, we know that. But Kojima, the flag bearer, Uesugi flag bearer, your highest valor, he's here for only a year. He'll be gone within a year. Okay? The only Uesugi retainer that I mentioned that was noteworthy in part 1 that is still with us is Kagemochi. That's it. This is the only guy who's left from the Rise of the Uesugi. So you might be thinking, okay, well, what did we get for a replacement? Okay, all the officers that were great are gone. But who did the Uesugi get to replace them? Just one person. Kanetsugu. Kanetsugu is awesome. This guy's awesome. He's a small ray of light in the darkness, right? Just a small ray of hope. Because Heaven's Favor gives you Confuse. It's almost as good as God of War. Reputation is great. I mean, his conservator role is excellent, but we'll cover that later on. Kanetsugu is the one guy that you got. But everyone else that I kind of mentioned as being top commanders, Tomonobu's not bad either. I mean, he's pretty solid too. But everyone else that I mentioned is gone except for Kagemochi. And there's been nobody to step up to the plate, just Kanetsugu. That's it. So your officer corps is devastated. And if you guys remember, what I mentioned in the Rise of the Uesugi video was that there's already a big drop-off. There was already a huge drop-off between Kenshin and everyone else. The only person that came close was Kageiie, who's also gone already. So now, here I am telling you that between Kenshin and Kageiie and the other elites that the Uesugi had, these elites, these guys that we have left, it's an even bigger drop-off. Okay? I mean, you really feel it. I know I might not look at it. You're probably thinking, well, they were mostly mediocre anyway. No, it's the devil's in the details with this force. It's even worse when you really start looking at everything, okay? And you're going to see that every problem feeds into everything else. And the other 2 points are affected greatly because of this point. Everything, it's just one bad domino knocking over another bad domino, okay? So the officer corps is worse. Just very simple. Most of the guys have just passed on or are going to pass on very soon in the case of the flag bearer. And the only person that you got was Kanetsugu. Now, the prestige is gone. Since the Uesugi just came out of the Civil War, the prestige is dropped all the way down to 40, which is terrible. It's so much worse, okay? It's so much worse to get a force that is already like mid with its territories. It's already got like a mid-sized force and it has low prestige. That is so much worse than having a small force like a 1 or 2 castle force that has no prestige. Because when you're smaller, it's easier to concentrate and expand. When you're bigger, you have to worry about defending your fronts and which direction. You have more to manage, right? So to be this big and only have 45 prestige is terrible. It's pathetic. And it has severe drawbacks. Okay, no longer can we form vassals, which the Uesugi need. The Uesugi are one of those forces that needs to be able to, because of their mediocre core, because of their need to defend all this territory and always being near competition, good competition, they need those conservator roles. They need those vassals to help them improve their strengths and their force. Their drawbacks, to get those passives. Because we don't have the prestige, we can't do that anymore. So, if I wanted to march up here and make the Tozawa a vassal, for example, I don't think I can do that anymore because I don't have the prestige. Even though we're bigger and stronger, we don't have the prestige gap to force them to surrender. Not to mention that in this time period, the geography is different. The alliances and everything are different. It's not even viable. But the point is, you don't have prestige power. So, one of the earliest videos I did was talking about that, the power of prestige. But it gives you strength when negotiating. It gives you strength on the field of battle. If you have more prestige than your opponents, it can really lopside a battle for you. There's just a lot of benefits that you're missing. It can help you get policies. It's essential to get policies. So with 45 prestige, there's a lot of policies that we're not going to be able to get. That you just can't get, or you can't even upgrade to. So if you guys saw my, I think it was Chosokabe run, I ran into this problem. I couldn't even get System Reform or System Reform 2 up and running because the requirements for prestige go up. So it's a huge problem. You can't even get your policies. So again, you're losing options. It takes away options from the player because we have to get more prestige. And the Uesugi are already a mid-sized force. So you see how the problem compounds on itself. It's like, okay, we need to expand, but we're already a pretty large force. It's going to be difficult to expand, and we don't have the officers. I mean, it's just an ugly snowball effect, okay? So the prestige thing is terrible. And also, let me point out that we don't have the treasury that Kenshin had. Kenshin had, I think, 20,000 to start. We only have 6,000. So we don't have money to be frivolous with anything at all, you know? Now, outside of the prestige, also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we don't have Kanto anymore. And even if we went down to Kanto, like even if we push through here, or we let the events play out in this scenario at 1582, we could pass through the Sign of the Clans, right? Go down here. We can't make these guys vassals anymore. Again, they're not, nobody, we're like a brand new force all over again. Nobody knows who Kagekatsu really is. So you just got no respect. We got no respect yet. Okay, so anyway, outside of that, the last thing that's affected are the builds. So I went on and on about the cavalry build and the expedition build that the Uesugi have. After the Civil War, 1582, 1584 if you have the DLC, 1591, the cavalry build is dead. You just can't do it anymore. Kageye is gone. There's no replacement. There's only one officer that can even approach it right now, Shigeye, and he has level 1, which is nothing. It's just, I mean, it's useless. 1 cavalry, 10%. You don't have any conservators. Again, you can't create vassals anymore to help you. So without him, it falls apart. Without the vassal power, you can't go march and go get a vassal and build it up and all that. There's no way for you to rebuild the cavalry. You just can't make a cavalry build with this force anymore. At least that's a starting point, right? I mean, you can expand and maybe throughout the course of the game, whatever, but as a strength, it just doesn't exist. The expedition build that I went on about, because the expedition build is so much fun to use, it is pretty much 50% less effective at least, okay? And this is for 2 reasons. The first reason is that in order to use the expedition build, which is basically you being able to leveraging Bishamonten's faith and small unit deployment, which we can't get because we don't have prestige. We gotta at least take 1 more castle. But either way, the idea is to leverage this so that our soldiers don't desert right away when we run out of food, and it decreases when they do desert. It decreases it, 50% less, and extra supplies to be able to sustain these very long marches. Right? That build we cannot afford anymore, because the level 1 version costs 100, but the level 2 version jumps all the way up to 2,000. So to get around this, the way to do this when you have Kenshin is to double dip and get the discount from Bishamonten's faith, right? The problem is that there's no longer any more retainers with Way of the Uesugi. So I'm going to show you guys. If you look here, if you look at all your officer corps, there's only one other person outside of Kagekatsu who has Way of the Uesugi, who is Kage Nao, okay? Kage Nao has Way of the Uesugi. So you're probably thinking, alright, I just get him the captain and then I can get the discount. No. Kage Nao only lives for 4 years. So he's going to pass away before you can get him up to captain. Maybe you can get him up to captain if you work hard and use him for maybe a year. But that's it. So you can no longer double dip and get the discount, which is crucial. Again, Bishamonten's faith really kicks in. That secondary effect kicks in when you get it to rank 2. Rank 1 is good, but rank 2 is where you need it to be. Reducing your soldiers by 65%, that's what you need. And not to mention the attack. Plus 12 is when you really start seeing the difference. But without being able to get the discount, Bishamonten's faith, I mean, I'm not going to say it's useless, but you pretty much get the first rank, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. You just leave it after the first rank. It's too expensive at rank 2. It'll take years for you to be able to afford it. You guys, if like I keep saying it, but if you haven't seen my stream, go check out my stream. The first part, me playing as Kenshin, getting the discount, getting Bishop Molten Faith at level 2 still really crippled my economy and locked me out of a lot of policies. It was very difficult to afford, and that was with a much bigger force. We had more castles and more economy. This starting position, and it's pretty much the same for the rest of the scenarios with the Uesugi. This starting position with 9 castles is even smaller. The domain is even smaller than when it was with Kenshin. So trust me when I say that it's too difficult to afford. Now, what's a better substitution? I'll tell you in a second, actually. But first, let me cover the second reason, okay? So the first reason is the economy for Bishop Molten Faith. That hurts the expedition build. You can't afford it, right? The second thing is that there's nowhere to go, okay? There's nowhere to go. It's not like when Kenshin was around. The Oda pretty much have everything here, and the Tokugawa have everything here. And if you play 1584, the Toyotomi have everything here, and the Tokugawa have everything here. Okay, and if you play 1591, the Toyotomi have everything here. You know what I mean? The situation is going to stay like this. You no longer have these small factions that you can go and campaign against and push through like you can with Kenshin. Just bulldoze 4 or 5 castles. Make a vassal, make 2 vassals, get a deal done, go home, go in another direction. There's no more of that. The Uesugi now have to contend with one force, whether it be Oda or Toyotomi, and believe me when I say that Hideyoshi is just as tough as Nobunaga to beat. He's just as tough, sometimes even tougher, because Hideyoshi can restore his stamina in battle. So that prevents you from, you know, just beating down his stack when he shows up to fight. He can just negate that and just keep coming, keep attacking at full strength. So Hideyoshi can be just as difficult as Nobunaga. He's going to have the center here. You know, if you let the events play out, Hideyoshi will eventually take over all this. If you don't let the events play out, then you'll just deal with Nobunaga here. So either way, this is bad. And Ieyasu will surge from down here in this scenario, or in the later scenarios, he will have all of Kai and Shinano. You'll be fighting a very strong Tokugawa and a very strong Oda, or more likely a very strong Toyotomi. Because of that, every time that you go to push, if you go to push, you say, I'm going to run all the way over here. As soon as you deploy to this first castle, you're going to fight the whole force. Okay, it's not like in Kenshin's days where the forces were 5 castles each, and they couldn't really pull, you know, reach into the reserves that deep. These forces are larger, and they're going to be a lot stronger because of that. They're just going to have more castles. All these forces are large. You know, that's the thing to remember. So if the Tokugawa have everything up here because of the events, and you go to attack them here, there's just nowhere to go. Ieyasu is going to send all his units, and you're going to fight the battle here, and then that's it. You know, chances are you're not going to have enough momentum to push and take 4 to 5 castles. The only direction you could really go is northeast, in my opinion, with the expeditions build. And remember that when I say expeditions build, it's at least 50% less effective, because chances are you're not going to be able to afford Bishop Molten's Faith level 2, and you can't even get small unit deployment without first capturing a castle and extending your line, making yourself even weaker technically. So yeah, those are the 2 reasons. You know, and while I'm talking about this part here, let me just say that the competition has only gotten tougher. I feel like this situation is Kenshin's situation, but cranked up even higher. Like I said, you were fighting Shingen, but Shingen only had 5, 7 castles, 8 castles at the most. Outside of fighting Shingen and the Hojo occasionally, the Uesugi didn't have a threat like Nobunaga, you know, with 40 castles, or Hideyoshi with 40 castles, or Ieyasu with 15, 18 castles. Your competition's only gotten stronger with time, and you've gotten weaker. So what I would do instead of using Bishop Molten's Faith is use Kanetsugu. Kanetsugu has the strongest version of provision stockpiler. It gives you 2 extra months of provisions at the expense of killing your harvest, pretty much. But you can build around it. You can build around it, but again, it's going to take time. But this will give you 60 extra days, 2 extra months. To me, this is better than getting Bishop Monten's Faith. If you just want to use expeditions, if you just want to go on a long campaign, and you're playing Uesugi and you say, I'm going to try to go here, I'm going to try to break through, or wait for the Sanada to take over this spot and then run through into Kanto, I would use Kanetsugu. I would not use Bishop Monten's Faith anymore, honestly. I just don't think it's worth it. So, yeah, the expeditions doesn't really work anymore, and neither does the cavalry build. So, it's a dire situation. And another thing, not having a treasury really hurts because you can't build. This clan, in my opinion, to make it go with this clan, you have to take off right away. You need to get something, you know, you have to go. You have to have a game plan and execute right away. And that was with Kenshin. Now it's even more so important that you immediately start advancing, securing your income, securing vassals to help improve your situation, because your competition is just, it's so much better, guys. I can't stress how much better it is now. This is so much tougher. So, you know, it's just another thing to throw in there. So, those are the main differences. I'm not going to say that it's definitely possible to do a run with them here or in 1584, but it's pain. It's pain, and it's less interesting. You know, you don't have Kenshin, honestly it's less interesting. So this scenario, like I said, you can count this starting position for 1584. If you have the 1582, I mean, if you have 1584, the DLC, it's pretty much the same. The only thing in that is you have the Sanada already as a vassal. So in that one, I think that might be the best one for a resurgence opportunity, because the Sanada are a vassal. So using them, you could leverage, make something work maybe. And the 1591 scenario, it's pretty much the same as well. Kind of the same situation. So again, you have a stronger Sanada ally in the region in that one. So in those two starting positions are a little bit better. I think this is the worst for the regular territory. And let's cover the other one. Let's cover the absolute, the most hopeless Uesugi. Okay, so the absolute worst starting position for the Uesugi is honestly the worst position for a lot of clans, right? So the siege of Osaka. I mean, this scenario, man. The Tokugawa are pretty much about to unify the country. Ieyasu's shogunate is about to be established. You know, like I said, it's pretty much hopeless for a lot of clans just because of the way that the scenario is designed. But I think it's intentional. I mean, what else can you do, really? So, the Uesugi at this point only have one territory left. Pretty much Kagegatsu and Kanetsugu. Which, let me say something about Kanetsugu, man. If you're playing later Uesugi, you better hope that nothing happens to Kanetsugu. You got to keep this guy alive. I mean, this is the only shot in the arm that they get. You know, if something happens to this guy, you are screwed. Absolutely screwed. And it hasn't changed here. He's still the best officer. This guy's already ill. That's funny. So, I did try this on the channel. It's a one-shot. I think it's called Kagekatsu Aims for Uesugi Restoration, something like that. If you guys want to check it out, it's a one-shot. So, trust me when I say that this situation is damn near hopeless, okay? You only have 13 officers. The best one, it's still the same two guys who are now pretty much old men. So I can't imagine how long you have with them. Maybe 10 years, 15 years at the most. You're going to lose 3 to 4 officers between the first 2 years. So you're going to drop down to about 9 officers, 10 officers. So it's going to get worse. Your officer corps gets even weaker, even thinner. Now you're allied, even though it doesn't show it here, because I think I was doing some testing on this one. Yeah. So you're allied with all of your neighbors in the beginning, except for the Date and the Tachibana, who are over here, right? But you're allied with all of your neighbors, so you're kind of landlocked in the beginning. And Ieyasu is just going to run over everybody. I mean, that's really why this is their worst scenario. This is, like I said, for that reason, it's pretty much every clan's worst scenario. One day I have to do the Toyotomi. I still haven't done Osaka on this channel with Toyotomi. I haven't done it at all, but I need to one of these days. But if you're not around Ieyasu over here to directly affect the war, it's pretty much hopeless, because he's just going to conquer everybody, all of the immediate neighbors, and then he's going to push towards you. And there's just not enough time. You don't have enough men. You don't have enough power to get established. Expanding in any direction is just very, very difficult. And again, the time. That's the thing about Kakekatsu's Uesugi at this point. They're just out of time, man. Even though you have the treasury, you guys can see the treasury is bigger than it's ever been. 49k. The prestige is higher than Kenshin had. Kenshin, I think, had a prestige of 400. Kakekatsu got it up to 500 to his credit. But it's just not enough. You know, it's not enough. You don't have enough time. So this is a fun scenario to play when you want to try to solve this situation here. Just as a challenge. You know, and I'm always going to keep trying to solve this scenario with different factions, but it's really, like I said, the success rate, I feel like I don't know anybody who could make it work. You just, I don't know. You could just be a vassal, I guess. You'd have to cheese it, is my best guess. Just be a vassal of the Tokugawa, maybe take over everything up here. But, you know, becoming a vassal is a trap 9 times out of 10. Because while you're a vassal, the person that you're a vassal to continues to expand. So, it's kind of a trap in and of itself. You're already behind. You become vassal to someone much stronger. They're going to keep getting much stronger. You can get strong, but they're still starting the race ahead of you. You know what I mean? So, in this case, even if I took all this, for example, they would be free to absorb everyone else, and I'd have no say in it. So I think you'd be forced to try to participate and slow down the Tokugawa. But again, this situation, I mean, if nobody's tried it, I'm not even going to recommend people try it. It's a lot. It's pain. It is pain trying to stop this. So that's their worst scenario. And yeah, that about covers it, I think. This is a really fun clan to play. I mean, it used to be a lot better back in the day. They've been getting nerfed steadily in each new game. It's become more and more just Kenshin and then everyone else. Whereas in the older games, he used to have a better supporting cast. So I don't know why Koei does that, but that's the way they've gone with them. I will give them the credit that the Uesugi clan has a very distinct feel, very distinct flavor in this game. That is really, really cool to play, like I talked about in the Rise Of video. But after the Civil War, they're just a shadow of their former selves. So, yeah, that about covers it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll have more videos like this as time goes on. Like I said, I'm covering the clan currently. We're doing a live stream run every Saturday on the channel. If you want to see some Uesugi gameplay, we're doing a Sanada Sekigahara playthrough. That's uploaded every Thursday. And once in a while, I'll do a side one-shot. So, make sure you guys sub to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys on the next video. Till then.